There's a book so controversial, so mysterious, and so powerful that it was erased from history for over 2,000 years. A book that reveals secrets about fallen angels, forbidden knowledge, supernatural beings, and a cosmic war that shaped humanity's destiny. A book that was once widely read, even quoted in the Bible, yet later banned, buried, and forgotten. Why? Because its contents were deemed too dangerous for the world to know. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, not because it was irrelevant, but because it held truths that could change everything. Imagine if a missing chapter of history suddenly resurfaced, one that rewrote everything we thought we knew about the origins of humanity, divine intervention, and the battle between good and evil. That's exactly what happened when the Book of Enoch was rediscovered in Ethiopia after centuries of suppression. This ancient manuscript speaks of the Watchers, a group of angels who defied God, taught humanity forbidden knowledge, and fathered a race of giants known as the Nephilim. These stories were so explosive that early religious leaders decided it was better to erase them completely rather than let people ask dangerous questions. But here's the thing. The Book of Enoch never really disappeared. It kept resurfacing in secret, influencing Christian theology, inspiring apocalyptic visions, and even making its way into conspiracy theories about ancient aliens and hidden history. Scholars, theologians, and historians have debated for centuries. Was it removed because it was false, or because it was too true? Some believe it holds clues about our past, while others think it contains warnings about our future. Either way, one thing is clear. This is knowledge that someone didn't want us to have. But if this book was erased, what else was hidden along with it? What other secrets have been kept from us? The Book of Enoch is more than just a lost manuscript. It's a mystery that refuses to stay buried. And today, we're going to dive deep into its forbidden pages, uncovering the real reason it was banned, the hidden truths it contains, and what it means for our understanding of the universe itself. Because once you start asking questions, there's no turning back. And the answers? They might just change everything you thought you knew. The Book of Enoch's banishment. For over 2,000 years, a book was buried in the shadows, its words deemed too dangerous for the world to see. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, not because it lacked wisdom, but because it revealed truths that shook the very foundations of religious doctrine. Imagine a manuscript so radical that it was erased from history, hidden like a forbidden artifact. Its pages spoke of divine beings, cosmic events, and a reality that clashed with the accepted narratives of the time. Those in power knew that knowledge is a double-edged sword, so they locked it away. But what made this book so controversial? It wasn't just another religious text. It was a revelation that challenged authority. It described celestial beings interfering with humanity, secrets of the universe, and visions of an apocalyptic fate. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Not because it was fiction, but because it threatened control. If people started questioning the heavens, the earth, and everything in between, what would happen to the established order? When knowledge empowers, institutions tremble. Now, let's put this into perspective. Imagine if an ancient diary surfaced, revealing a hidden chapter of history, one that rewrote everything we thought we knew. Would governments rush to embrace it, or would they suppress it, fearing the chaos it might unleash? That's exactly what happened here. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it dared to tell a story that wasn't supposed to be told. And anything that disrupts the status quo usually doesn't last long in the public eye. But here's the twist. While the book vanished from mainstream religious texts, it never truly disappeared. Fragments survived, whispered through secret circles, carried through generations, hidden in the margins of forgotten libraries. For centuries, it remained a ghost, lingering in the background of theological debates. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. It was a mystery, a forbidden scripture, a riddle that refused to be erased. And then, something remarkable happened. After being lost for thousands of years, the book resurfaced in the most unexpected place, Ethiopia. A lone explorer stumbled upon it, realizing he had just uncovered one of history's greatest hidden texts. But why Ethiopia? How did this book, shunned by the West, survive in the East? Could it be that some ancient guardians had always known its value, preserving it until the world was ready to see it again? That, my friend, is a story worth diving into. Influence in early Christianity. The Book of Enoch wasn't just another obscure text. It was a cornerstone of thought for early Christian scholars. Long before it was buried in the shadows, this book was widely read and respected among the first believers. Think about it. Figures like Justin Martyr, Irenaeus, and Tertullian, some of the most influential voices in early Christianity, saw something powerful within its pages. They referenced it, debated its meaning, and even built arguments around its teachings. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. It had too much influence, shaping beliefs in ways that the emerging church hierarchy couldn't control. If you could travel back in time, walking through the candlelit halls where these early theologians debated scripture, You'd hear whispers of Enoch's revelations. His words weren't treated as myth, they were regarded as insights into divine mysteries. But as time passed, something changed. Church leaders began to worry. Why was this book so captivating? Why did it hold such sway over people's understanding of heaven, angels, and the apocalypse? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because when a text wields that much power, those in control start to see it as a threat. Now, picture a moment in history when decisions about the Bible's contents were being made. Councils convened, debates raged, and one by one, certain books were either included or rejected. The Book of Enoch? Too mysterious, too radical, too unpredictable. While it had influenced generations of thinkers, it was ultimately cast aside, labeled non-canonical. Imagine if your favorite book was suddenly declared invalid, erased from public knowledge. That's exactly what happened here. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, not because it was forgotten, but because it was deliberately silenced. But influence doesn't disappear overnight. Even after it was excluded from the official canon, its impact echoed through Christian teachings. Passages from the Book of Enoch still surfaced in discussions about the nature of angels, the fate of the wicked, and the mysteries of the afterlife. Some even argue that its ideas secretly shaped Christian eschatology, the study of the end times. Could it be that its vision of cosmic battles, divine judgment, and supernatural beings subtly seeped into Christian thought, even after it was banned? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. It never really left. It just went underground. And yet, while Western traditions erased it, one part of the world held on to it. Far from Rome and its decrees, there was a place where Enoch's words were not only preserved but embraced. A land where history took a different path, where hidden texts remained untouched by the sweeping hand of censorship. That place? Ethiopia. And the man who would bring the book back to the world? A Scottish explorer on a journey that would rewrite history. Amphora, Rediscovery in Ethiopia. For centuries, the world believed the Book of Enoch was lost, gone forever, erased from history. But then, in the 18th century, something extraordinary happened. A Scottish explorer named James Bruce set off on a journey that would change everything. While searching for ancient texts in Ethiopia, he stumbled upon a book that Western scholars thought had vanished. There it was, perfectly preserved in the Ethiopian Orthodox Church archives, as if time itself had protected it. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because while the West sought to erase it, the East had safeguarded its secrets. Imagine Bruce's reaction as he realized what he had just found. He had traveled through deserts, crossed treacherous lands, and braved the unknown, all to uncover a text that had been hidden for over 2,000 years. And yet, to the Ethiopian priests, this was nothing new. They had always known about Enoch's book. While Europe had cast it into oblivion, Ethiopia had kept it as part of its religious tradition. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because not every part of the world was willing to abandon it. The discovery sent shockwaves through the academic world. How could a book, erased from Western religious history, still exist in its entirety? Scholars were both fascinated and skeptical. Some dismissed it, calling it an irrelevant relic. Others saw it as a missing puzzle piece, proof that early Christianity and Judaism had once valued it deeply. And yet, even with this rediscovery, the book remained controversial. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because even when truth resurfaces, not everyone is ready to accept it. Now, think about the sheer irony here. The Western world, which had spent centuries shaping Christian doctrine, suddenly had to face the fact that they had silenced a book that others had preserved all along. Ethiopia never erased it. It remained part of their sacred texts, treated with the same reverence as other religious scriptures. Could it be that they had held on to something the rest of the world had been too afraid to acknowledge? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because when you try to erase knowledge, it has a way of finding its way back. But this discovery led to an even bigger question. What exactly was in this book that made it so dangerous? What knowledge was so explosive that the early church decided the world wasn't ready for it? Well, as it turns out, the Book of Enoch doesn't just tell a story. It reveals a hidden layer of biblical history. And one of its most shocking connections? The fact that some apostles, including Jude, directly referenced it in their writings. That's right, parts of the Bible itself hint at Enoch's lost words. Connection to the Bible. If a book was never meant to be part of the Bible, then why do some apostles quote it? That's the uncomfortable question that scholars have wrestled with for centuries. The Book of Enoch might be banned, erased, and dismissed, but its words still echo through the pages of Scripture. One of the most striking examples comes from the Apostle Jude, who directly references Enoch in his epistle. And not just in passing, he quotes it word for word. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because even after its removal, its influence refused to disappear. Imagine finding out that a forbidden book was secretly embedded in the very text that billions of people consider sacred. That's exactly what happened here. Jude 1:14-15 mentions Enoch's prophecy about the coming judgment, using phrasing so identical to the Book of Enoch that it's impossible to ignore the connection. So, what does that mean? If an apostle quoted it, does that make Enoch's writings divinely inspired, or was it just another historical reference? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because allowing people to ask these questions might lead to answers that shake the foundations of faith. And it's not just Jude. The themes, language, and apocalyptic visions found in Enoch's writings bear a striking resemblance to passages in Daniel, Revelation, and even Genesis. The idea of fallen angels, divine judgment, and a cosmic battle between good and evil isn't exclusive to the Bible. It's deeply embedded in Enoch's teachings. But if these ideas were so influential, why was the book removed in the first place? Simple. Control. A text that expands theological boundaries is a text that authorities can't afford to let spread. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because knowledge is power, and power is meant to be controlled. Now, let's put ourselves in the mindset of early church leaders. They had to decide what belonged in the sacred canon and what didn't. A book filled with supernatural beings, cosmic prophecies, and divine secrets? Too risky. A book that suggested there was more to the spiritual world than what the official doctrine allowed? Even riskier. And so, Enoch was quietly left out. But here's the thing. Ideas don't just vanish. If something is powerful enough to be erased, it's powerful enough to survive. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because no matter how hard you try to bury the truth, it has a way of rising again. And here's where things take an even stranger turn. Enoch's most controversial passages don't just hint at divine mysteries. They introduce a caste of celestial beings that few religious texts dare to explore in depth. The Watchers. The fallen angels who defied the heavens. Beings that descended to earth and forever changed the course of human history. What were they? Who were they? And could their presence explain some of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world? The Watchers and Nephilim. Imagine a time when divine beings walked among humans, altering the course of history in ways that few dare to acknowledge. According to the Book of Enoch, a group of angels, known as the Watchers, descended from heaven and did the unthinkable. They broke divine law by taking human women as their mates. The result? A hybrid race of giants called the Nephilim, beings of immense power, intelligence, and, according to the text, corruption. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it tells a version of history that mainstream religious texts only hint at in cryptic passages. Now, why would angels, beings supposedly devoted to divine order, betray their purpose? Enoch describes them as rebels, seduced by the beauty of human women and the temptations of earthly pleasures. But what if it wasn't just about desire? Some interpretations suggest that the Watchers had a different goal altogether: to give humanity forbidden knowledge. They taught metallurgy, weapon making, sorcery, and astrology, things that accelerated human civilization but also led to destruction. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests that humanity's advancement came at a cost, and that divine beings played a role in shaping our destiny. Think about the ancient stories of gods mingling with mortals, Greek mythology, Sumerian texts, Hindu legends. They all share a common theme: celestial beings descending to earth, bestowing knowledge, and creating demigods. Could the story of the Watchers and the Nephilim be more than just myth? Some researchers believe this account is an early record of something much bigger, a forgotten chapter of history that religions were forced to suppress. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because if these stories are true, they change everything we think we know about the past. And here's where things get even darker. The Book of Enoch describes the Nephilim as a race of giants who eventually turned violent, corrupting the world with their unchecked power. Their rule led to chaos, destruction, and ultimately divine intervention. According to the text, their existence was so catastrophic that God himself decided to wipe them out. But how? By unleashing one of the most well-known events in biblical history, the Great Flood. Yes, the very flood that Noah survived wasn't just about human wickedness, it was about cleansing the earth of these unnatural beings. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests a deeper, more supernatural reason behind the flood story. But here's a question that few dare to ask. If the Nephilim were wiped out, why do some ancient cultures still speak of them? Legends of giants exist all over the world, from the Anakim in the Bible to the Titans of Greek mythology, to the giant skeletons reportedly found in archaeological digs. Did some of them survive? And if so, what happened to them? The Book of Enoch doesn't just tell a forbidden story, it opens a door to even more mysteries. But what if the Watchers weren't just angels? What if they were something else entirely? Extraterrestrial theories. What if the story of the Watchers isn't just about fallen angels? What if these beings, who descended from the heavens, weren't supernatural at all, but extraterrestrial? Some researchers, including the controversial Erich von Däniken, have suggested that the events described in the Book of Enoch could be one of the earliest records of ancient alien encounters. If we strip away the religious language and look at the story from a modern perspective, it starts to sound eerily familiar. Beings from above descend, interact with humans, share forbidden knowledge, and create a hybrid race. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it might suggest that our history is far more extraordinary than we were taught. Think about it. Many ancient civilizations, from the Sumerians to the Mayans, recorded encounters with powerful beings who came from the stars and imparted wisdom beyond human capability. The Nazca lines in Peru, the megalithic structures of Baalbek, and the pyramids of Giza, all of these mysterious ancient sites fuel theories that early humans had outside help. The Book of Enoch describes the Watchers as descendants from heaven, giving humanity knowledge that advanced civilization rapidly. But were they fallen angels, or visitors from somewhere else? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it raises the possibility that our ancestors knew more about the universe than we do today. Now, let's go deeper. The book mentions fiery chariots, flying beings, and luminous structures, descriptions that sound suspiciously like modern UFO reports. Enoch himself is said to have been taken to the heavens and shown the secrets of the universe. But what if these weren't metaphorical visions of paradise? What if they were descriptions of something tangible? Technology so advanced that ancient people could only describe it in religious terms. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it might contain clues about extraterrestrial contact long before recorded history. Skeptical? Consider this. Multiple cultures across the globe share eerily similar stories of sky gods, divine messengers, and celestial teachers. How did civilizations that had no contact with one another all develop the same myths? The Hopi people speak of the star beings. The Dogon tribe in Africa mysteriously knew about Sirius B, a star invisible to the naked eye, long before modern telescopes. Even biblical accounts of Ezekiel's vision of a spinning, metallic wheel in the sky sound more like an alien encounter than a religious moment. Could the Book of Enoch be another missing link in this pattern? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because if these theories hold any weight, they rewrite everything we know about human history. But here's the real kicker. If the Watchers were ancient extraterrestrial visitors, what happened to them? Did they leave? Did they die out? Or are they still here, operating from the shadows, influencing history from behind the scenes? The Book of Enoch doesn't just hint at our forgotten past, it may also hold clues about our future. And nowhere is that future more vividly described than in Enoch's apocalyptic visions, where he sees the fate of humanity and the coming judgment. Apocalyptic visions. The Book of Enoch isn't just a historical curiosity, it's a prophecy. Hidden within its pages are visions of the end times, descriptions so vivid that they mirror the apocalyptic warnings found in the Bible's Book of Revelation. Enoch speaks of cosmic upheavals, divine judgment, and a final reckoning where the righteous are separated from the wicked. It's as if he was given a front-row seat to the end of the world. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it paints a picture of humanity's fate that goes beyond traditional scripture, one that raises unsettling questions about our future. Now, imagine receiving visions so terrifying that they defy explanation. Enoch claims to have seen the abyss, where fallen angels are imprisoned until the final judgment. He describes a massive celestial war, with supernatural forces battling for control over the universe. Sound familiar? That's because these same themes are echoed in Revelation, only here, they are far older. Some scholars believe that Revelation may have drawn inspiration from Enoch's writings. If that's true, then why was one book canonized and the other erased? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests that the blueprint for the apocalypse existed long before mainstream Christianity acknowledged it. But it doesn't stop there. Enoch's visions include descriptions of portals opening in the sky, stars falling to earth, and a divine tribunal where every soul is judged. Could these be allegorical, or was Enoch witnessing something real? Something beyond his ability to fully comprehend? Some have even theorized that his visions weren't of spiritual realms at all, but rather of cosmic events, possibly even advanced technology beyond his understanding. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because its descriptions blur the line between the divine and the unexplained. And then there's the biggest revelation of all, a new world emerging from the ruins of the old. Enoch speaks of a time when the earth will be purified, where only the just will remain, and where an eternal kingdom will be established. It's a theme found in countless religious traditions, the idea that destruction is necessary for rebirth. But here's the twist. Enoch provides specific details, timelines, and descriptions that don't appear in mainstream scripture. If his visions were purely symbolic, why do they align so closely with modern theories about natural disasters, climate change, and even possible global catastrophes? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it might not just be telling us about the past, but warning us about what's to come. And perhaps the most chilling part? Enoch's revelations weren't just about an apocalyptic future. They were about why it had to happen in the first place. He traced humanity's corruption back to a single event, an event so catastrophic that it led to the greatest disaster in history, the Great Flood. If the Nephilim's presence was enough to trigger divine wrath once before, could history be repeating itself? The Great Flood. We all know the story of Noah's Ark, the Great Flood that wiped out the wicked and gave humanity a fresh start. But what if there was more to it? What if the flood wasn't just about human sin, but about something far more dangerous? According to the Book of Enoch, the real reason behind the flood was the corruption brought by the Nephilim, the monstrous offspring of the Watchers and human women. These beings, said to be giants with incredible strength and knowledge, had poisoned the earth with violence, chaos, and forbidden wisdom. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it presents a version of the flood story that is radically different from the one most people know. Now, think about it. If the Nephilim were just myths, why do so many ancient cultures have their own stories of giants? From the Anakim in the Bible to the Titans of Greek mythology, civilizations across the world tell eerily similar tales of divine beings mating with humans, creating a race too powerful to control. The Book of Enoch claims that these creatures turned the earth into a nightmare, a place where humans were enslaved, wars raged endlessly, and the natural order was shattered. Could it be that the flood wasn't just about sin, but about erasing an unnatural force from history? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests that humanity wasn't just judged, it was rescued. And here's where things get even more intriguing. The flood in the Book of Enoch isn't just a biblical event, it's connected to a period of history known as the Younger Dryas, a time of sudden climate change around 14,000 years ago. Some researchers believe that this era marks the real flood event, one that wiped out entire civilizations and reshaped the earth. Could the flood myth be a distant memory of a real catastrophe? And if so, was the flood really divine punishment, or was it something else? Something like an attempt to reset a world that had spiraled out of control. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests that the flood wasn't just about cleansing, but about erasing a past too dangerous to remember. And here's another question. If the Nephilim were truly wiped out, why do some legends say otherwise? Some accounts hint that a few of them survived, hiding in remote parts of the world, their bloodline diluted but not gone. Could this explain why tales of giants persist across different cultures? Even the Bible mentions giants appearing long after the flood, like Goliath, who was said to be over 9 feet tall. If they were supposed to be extinct, how did they return? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it suggests that humanity's battle with these beings wasn't over after the flood. And here's where things get even more unsettling. If the Nephilim were wiped out, and if the Watchers were imprisoned for their crimes, why does the Book of Enoch warn that they will return? That's right, according to the text, the fallen ones will once again influence the world before the final judgment. But why was this idea removed from the Bible? Why were we never taught that this battle might not be over? Perhaps it has something to do with why the book was deemed too dangerous for the world to read. And that brings us to the ultimate question. Who decided which books were included in the Bible and which were erased? Reasons for rejection. If the Book of Enoch was so influential, so widely read, and even quoted in the Bible, why was it removed? The answer is both simple and unsettling. Control. The early church had a problem. Enoch's writings were too controversial, too mystical, and too dangerous to be included in mainstream scripture. The book introduced supernatural elements that didn't fit neatly into the doctrines being established. It spoke of fallen angels, divine secrets, and a history of humanity that clashed with what the religious authorities wanted people to believe. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it raised too many questions that the church wasn't prepared to answer. One of the biggest issues? Authorship. Who actually wrote the Book of Enoch? Was it really penned by the great-grandfather of Noah, or was it a later creation, falsely attributed to him? Many scholars believe it was written in different stages, by multiple unknown authors, sometime around 300 BC, long after Enoch himself would have lived. If that's true, does it mean the book is a forgery? Or does it mean that its wisdom was so valuable that it was preserved, passed down, and expanded upon by generations of scribes? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because its origins were too uncertain for the church to endorse. And then there's the issue of contradictions. Some parts of Enoch's writings don't align with the accepted biblical narrative. It describes a hierarchy of angels, celestial beings with distinct roles, and a war between heaven and earth that isn't fully explored in the Bible. It also suggests that humanity's downfall was influenced by external forces, like the Nephilim and the Watchers, whereas mainstream Christianity places the blame squarely on human sin. The church couldn't afford to promote a text that challenged their interpretation of good and evil. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it told a different version of the story. But let's be real. If the Book of Enoch was just a collection of myths, why not leave it in the Bible as a cautionary tale? Why erase it completely? Some believe that the book was too revelatory, containing knowledge about the spiritual world that the church wanted to keep hidden. Think about it. This book describes in painstaking detail how fallen angels taught humanity forbidden sciences, how they influenced history, and how their legacy might not be over. What if this text wasn't removed because it was false, but because it was too true? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it might hold secrets that the world wasn't meant to know. But here's the twist: while the church rejected it, other groups did not. The Ethiopian Orthodox Church kept it as part of their canon, preserving its teachings when the rest of the world tried to erase them. And even today, the Book of Enoch refuses to disappear. Scholars, historians, and researchers keep returning to it, uncovering new meanings and connections that were once lost. Why does this book still hold power after 2,000 years? What hidden truths are waiting to be rediscovered? And most importantly, what else was kept from us? Because the Book of Enoch isn't just some ancient curiosity, it's a historical enigma, one that forces us to question everything we thought we knew. And if this book was removed, what other knowledge was hidden alongside it? Historical significance. Some books fade into history. Others refuse to be forgotten. The Book of Enoch is one of those texts that keeps resurfacing, challenging everything we think we know about religion, history, and the origins of humanity. Even after being banned, erased, and labeled heretical, it refuses to disappear. Why? Because whether it's true or not, it provides a window into the beliefs, fears, and cosmic visions of the ancient world. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it offers insights that don't just belong to one religion or culture, but to the broader human experience. Now, let's talk about what makes this book so important. Despite being removed from the biblical canon, its themes and ideas echo throughout religious and mythological traditions. It describes angels and demons, divine judgment, a cosmic battle between good and evil, and the idea that humanity is being watched and influenced by unseen forces. Sound familiar? That's because these concepts are woven into Judaism, Christianity, Islam, and even ancient mythologies from around the world. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because its influence stretches far beyond any single doctrine. But here's where things get even more interesting. Some historians believe the Book of Enoch provides a rare glimpse into the transition from early Jewish mysticism to Christian theology. Before the Bible took its final form, there were many competing beliefs about angels, the afterlife, and the fate of the soul. Enoch's writings bridged the gap between these different traditions, revealing a version of spirituality that was once widely accepted, but later suppressed. If the Book of Enoch had remained in the Bible, would our understanding of faith be different today? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because it presents a spiritual worldview that was ultimately edited out of history. And let's not forget one crucial detail. The Book of Enoch was divided into 5 sections, each covering different aspects of his visions and prophecies. One section describes the Watchers, another speaks of apocalyptic judgment, while others dive into the mysteries of creation and the cosmic order. It's not just one book, it's 5 books in one, covering everything from divine secrets to the end of the world. How many other banned texts contain this level of complexity? This is why the Book of Enoch got banned, because its depth and detail make it impossible to dismiss as mere fantasy. But the real question is, what else has been hidden from us? If a book like this could be erased for over 2,000 years, what other ancient knowledge has been lost, destroyed, or deliberately suppressed? The Book of Enoch wasn't removed because it was irrelevant, it was removed because it was too important. But now that it's been rediscovered, what does it mean for us today? And more importantly, what else is waiting to be found? Because if history has taught us anything, it's this: the truth has a way of coming back. And the Book of Enoch? It's back. Now, the question is, what will we do with it? The truth they didn't want you to know. So now you know. The Book of Enoch wasn't just another ancient text, it was a piece of forbidden history. A book so powerful that it had to be erased, buried, and forgotten for over 2,000 years. But here's the real question. Why? Why was a book that influenced early Christianity, was quoted in the Bible, and survived in hidden corners of the world completely removed from history? Was it really because of inconsistencies and doubts about its authorship? Or was it because it contains secrets that could change the way we see everything? Our past, our beliefs, even our future? Think about it. If one book could be erased so easily, what else has been hidden from us? What other truths have been locked away, disguised as myth, or rewritten to fit an agenda? Knowledge is power, and power has always been controlled by those who want to shape the world in their image. But here's the thing about knowledge: it never stays buried forever. The fact that you're here, reading this, proves that the truth has a way of resurfacing. This is why the Book of Enoch got banned. Because once you start asking the right questions, you realize how much we've been kept from knowing. But now, it's up to you. What will you do with this information? Will you dismiss it as just another ancient text? Or will you dig deeper, challenge the narratives you've been told, and start looking at history and the universe itself with new eyes? The more you learn, the more you start to see the patterns, the connections, and the gaps in what we've been taught. Maybe the Book of Enoch was never meant to be forgotten. Maybe it was meant to be found, right now, in this moment, by people like you. So let me ask you, do you believe the official version of history? Or are you starting to wonder what else they haven't told us? Leave your thoughts in the comments. I want to know what you think about this lost book and its hidden truths. And if you want to keep diving deeper into the mysteries of history, religion, and the universe, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications, because trust me, this is just the beginning. The truth is out there. Are you ready to find it?